It is a very, very real thing, and it surprised me how strong those
4 years, Ruth Langsford and Eamonn Holmes were the ultimate power couple that everyone looked up to. They seemed 0:12 seconds solid, working together on TV and joking around like best friends. Music. But behind the scenes, things weren't as 0:19 seconds perfect as they looked. Now at 66, Ruth is finally opening up about what really went wrong and why they decided to end 0:27 seconds, their 14-year marriage. It turns out there was a lot of hidden tension and secrets that fans never saw on screen. 0:34 seconds from feeling lonely in her own home to finding out things she never expected. 0:38 seconds. Ruth is ready to tell her side of the story. So, what did Ruth say and why is she speaking up now after all these 0:46 seconds years? Join us as we get into all the details. Ruth Langsford, music. The woman behind the power couple mask. Long 0:54 seconds before the headlines and long before the very public breakdown of her marriage to Eamonn Holmes, Ruth Langsford was just a 1:011 minute, 1 second regular girl with big dreams. Quietly holding on to the idea that one day she would make something of herself. She was 1:091 minute, 9 seconds born in Singapore in 1960, but her story really began to take shape in London where she was educated, Clear's Throat. 1:151 minute, 15 seconds Sat Greycoat Hospital School. There was nothing flashy about those early years. 1:201 minute, 20 seconds, nothing that hinted at the kind of public life she would eventually step into. Music, 1:251 minute, 25 seconds, but somewhere along the way, that quiet determination started to turn into something music. Real. Her first steps into television weren't glamorous. 1:341 minute, 34 seconds. She started out as a continuity announcer and newscaster with ITV's regional station. Music, television 1:411 minute, 41 seconds Southwest in Plymouth. It was steady work, the kind that teaches you discipline and patience. And for a while, music. It was enough. But even then 1:501 minute, 50 seconds things didn't stay still for long. In 1993, music. When West Country Television took over the franchise, the 1:571 minute, 57 second station shut down. And just music like that, Ruth found herself closing one chapter alongside fellow announcer Ian Music Sterling. Without really knowing 2:062 minutes, 6 seconds what the next one would look like, that uncertainty didn't last long. By 1999, 2:122 minutes, 12 seconds she had found her way onto Loose Women as a regular panelist. Stepping into a space, music, where personality mattered just as much as professionalism. It was 2:202 minutes, 20 seconds, a different kind of spotlight, more conversational, more exposed. She stayed until 2002, then stepped away, only to 2:282 minutes, 28 seconds return years later. First as a stand-in anchor in 2010 and then fully reclaiming her place in 2014. Music, 2:362 minutes, 36 seconds. This time it wasn't just a role. It was a position of authority sitting at the center of music. The conversation alongside names like Jane Moore, 2:452 minutes, 45 seconds Charlene White, music, Christine Lampard, and Kay Adams. But while that was unfolding, something even bigger was happening in music, parallel. In 2000, 2:552 minutes, 55 seconds Ruth began appearing as a guest presenter on this Music Morning. At first, it was occasional, nothing permanent. But by 2006, she had secured her place as a regular presenter, 3:063 minutes, 6 seconds co-hosting alongside Philip Schofield and quietly becoming the longest-serving presenter the show had ever had. And then came a shift that would change 3:143 minutes, 14 seconds everything, not just professionally, but personally, too. Later that same year, 3:203 minutes, 20 seconds Eamonn Holmes joined her as a co-host every Friday. At the time, it looked like perfect chemistry, easy 3:273 minutes, 27 seconds conversations, shared laughter. The kind of on-screen connection audiences instantly trust. But what started as a 3:353 minutes, 35 seconds working partnership slowly blurred into something more personal, more complicated, and eventually more fragile than it appeared. Still, Ruth kept 3:4:43 minutes, 44 seconds moving. She became one of the main presenters, music, on TV Travel Shop, 3:4:83 minutes, 48 seconds, hosted a string of shows like The Answer Lies in the Soil, The Great British Garden Show, Langford Late, and 3:5:53 minutes, 55 seconds Mysterious West, and even lent her voice to narrate Zoo's Story in 2004. There was always something new, something keeping 4:0:44 minutes, for seconds her in motion, never staying in one place long enough to feel stuck. By 2010, she was appearing on GMTV with 4:1:24 minutes, 12 seconds Lorraine, stepping into reality TV with Marco's Kitchen Burnout, and then pushing herself even further with Born 4:1:84 minutes, 18 seconds To Shine in 2011. It wasn't just about staying relevant. It was about proving again and again that she could adapt. 4:2:74 minutes, 27 seconds. Then came 2014, a year that seemed to tie everything together. She and Ian co-hosted Gift, Music, Wrapped, for 3:34 minutes, 33 seconds, presenting themselves as a seamless duo both on screen and off. By 2015, they were fronting How the Other Half Lives, 4:4:24 minutes, 42 seconds, giving audiences a glimpse into lifestyles far removed from everyday reality. On the surface, it all looked aligned: career, partnership, public. 4:5:04 minutes, 50 seconds image, everything moving in sync. But at the same time, Ruth was quietly building something of her own. Music. In 2017, 4:5:84 minutes, 58 seconds, she launched Ruth Langsford's fashion edit on QVC, carving out a space that was entirely hers. That same year, she 5:0:55 minutes, 5 seconds, stepped onto the dance floor for Strictly Music, Come Dancing, partnered with Anton Dubka. It was a different kind of challenge, one that pushed her 5:1:35 minutes, 13 seconds out of her comfort zone. Music. She didn't win, leaving the competition in November, but that wasn't really the point. It showed a different side of 5:2:15 minutes, 21 seconds her, one that wasn't tied music to anyone else. And still the work kept coming from co-presenting Do the Right 5:2:75 minutes, 27 seconds thing with Ian Music in 2018 to fronting Low Stone in 4 weeks alongside Dr. Amir Khan in 2019 and 2020. Ruth stayed visible, consistent, 5:3:95 minutes, 39 seconds, and music, dependable. Beyond television, she explored radio, co-hosting on BBC London 94.9, 5:4:75 minutes, 47 seconds, became a brand ambassador for major campaigns and wrote columns that connected her to audiences in a more personal, everyday way. On paper, it all 5:5:65 minutes, 56 seconds, looked like a life that had been carefully built piece by piece with nothing music out of place. But when you look closer, when you follow the 6:0:46 minutes, for seconds timeline all the way through, you start music to see something else. A career that kept growing. A partnership that 6:1:16 minutes, 11 seconds kept evolving. And underneath it all, a story that wasn't as simple as it seemed. Because while Ruth Langsford was 6:1:96 minutes, 19 seconds building this steady, successful life in public, something else was quietly unfolding behind the scenes. Music, 6:2:56 minutes, 25 seconds, something that would eventually change everything. More than just work, how music, fame and friction finally pulled 6:3:16 minutes, 31 seconds Ruth and Ian apart. In 2024, Ruth Langsford and Eamonn Holmes announced their divorce after 14 years of 6:3:96 minutes, 39 seconds marriage. Music. And just like that, a relationship people thought they understood suddenly felt unfamiliar. 6:4:56 minutes, 45 seconds, music. It hit harder because for years they had looked completely solid on screen. The chemistry was easy, the laughter felt real, music. And nothing 6:5:46 minutes, 54 seconds about them suggested a couple quietly drifting apart behind the scenes. But before the headlines, before the statements, music. Before everything 7:0:27 minutes, 2 seconds started to unravel, there was a time when the two of them were music, deeply in love. They first met in 1997 through 7:097 minutes, 9 seconds their mutual friend, television presenter Sally Mean. And from the start, there was a connection. Still, 7:157 minutes, 15 seconds they didn't rush into the spotlight with it. At the time, Ian had only separated from his first wife, Gabrielle Holmes, 7:237 minutes, 23 seconds 2 years earlier, and that history mattered. So they kept things private, not out of secrecy, but out of respect. 7:307 minutes, 30 seconds, and for Ruth, that choice said more than anything else could. She reflected that it showed the kind of man he was, the kind of father he chose to be, and the 7:397 minutes, 39 seconds kind of integrity he carried, and instead of pushing her away, it only made her love him more. 2 years later, they finally went public. By 2002, 7:487 minutes, 48 seconds, music. 7:497 minutes, 49 seconds, their relationship had grown into something more grounded, more permanent, as they welcomed their son, Jack. 7:547 minutes, 54 seconds, music. And even that moment carried its own quiet story. Ruth later shared that she had found out she was pregnant the 8:028 minutes, 2 seconds day before music. Her godson Charlie's christening. A piece of news she held close, telling her best friend Sam first 8:088 minutes, 8 seconds because Ian was away at the time. It was one of those small personal moments that never makes it to the screen, 8:158 minutes, 15 seconds, music, but says everything about where they were as a couple then. As their personal life settled, their professional lives began to intertwine 8:238 minutes, 23 seconds in a way that would define how the public saw them. In music, 2006, 9 years into their relationship, they 8:308 minutes, 30 seconds started presenting the Friday edition of This Morning Together. Ruth had already been part of the show for years, but bringing Ian into that space changed 8:398 minutes, 39 seconds the dynamic. Suddenly, it wasn't just work. It was their relationship playing out in real time in front of millions. 8:478 minutes, 47 seconds, and as easy as it looked, Ruth admitted that working with your partner isn't always simple, even if most of the time they made it work. From there, the 8:558 minutes, 55 seconds pattern was set. They became a familiar duo across multiple shows, from Gift Music, Rap to How the Other Half Lives and later Lose a Stone in 4 weeks. 9:069 minutes, 6 seconds, music. They even leaned into the idea of their relationship on screen with Ian and Ruth's 7-year itch and do 9:139 minutes, 13 seconds the right thing. It all fed into the same image, a couple who could live together, work together, and still music. Keep things light. At one point, 9:229 minutes, 22 seconds Ian even joked that stepping away from television music, 9:259 minutes, 25 seconds wasn't an option for them, questioning how TV could possibly manage without them, as if their presence had become music part of the routine people expected. And somewhere along the way, 9:359 minutes, 35 seconds that partnership turned into marriage. 9:389 minutes, 38 seconds 13 years after they first met and 5 years after Ian's divorce from Gabrielle was finalized, they got married at Elvetham Hall in Hampshire. 9:479 minutes, 47 seconds, it felt like a natural next step, a continuation of something that had already proven it could last. Soon after, they settled into a 6-bedroom 9:569 minutes, 56 seconds home in Weybridge, building a life that from the outside looked secure. 10:0010 minutes established, music, and complete. Even years later, Ruth spoke about that connection with a kind of music, quiet certainty. She described how Ian could 10:0810 minutes, 8 seconds be the first to joke at her expense, but music, just as quickly be the one to surprise her with thoughtfulness. She admitted that during her time on 10:16 minutes, 16 seconds Strictly Come Dancing, she was giving him almost no attention. Music. Yet, 10:20 minutes, 20 seconds, she trusted that he understood that he always had. In her mind, that understanding was the reason they worked. But things don't always stay. 10:28 minutes, 28 seconds where they start. By Music, 2020, there was already a shift, even if it wasn't obvious at first. In November of that 10:36 10 minutes, 36 seconds year, they were removed from their roles on Music, This Morning, replaced by Alison Hammond and Dermot O'Leary. It was a professional change, but it didn't 10:45 10 minutes, 45 seconds land lightly. Reports suggested they were music furious, and from that point, their paths slowly began to separate. Ruth stayed with ITV, 10:54 10 minutes, 54 seconds continuing her role on Loose Women, 10:56 10 minutes, 56 seconds, Music. While Ian moved in a completely different direction, joining GB News to host his own breakfast show. And just like that, the balance they had maintained for years started to tilt. 11:0711 minutes, 7 seconds, then came May 2024. The confirmation was simple, almost too simple for something that had lasted this long. Their 11:15 minutes, 15 seconds spokesperson stated that their marriage was over and that they were in the process of divorcing. Behind that statement, Music, there were hints of 11:23 minutes, 23 seconds what had gone wrong. Claims that their work commitments had taken them in different music directions, pulling them apart little by little until their 11:30 minutes, 30 seconds was nothing left to hold on to. In the same way, Music, still even in the middle of it, there was an effort to keep things steady. They made it clear 11:38 minutes, 38 seconds they wanted to remain friends, to keep things amicable, to handle the end of their relationship with the same composure people had always seen from 11:46 minutes, 46 seconds them. An official statement was expected, something for the public, something to close the chapter properly. But when you look at everything, Music, 11:54 minutes, 54 seconds from where they started to how it ended, 11:56 minutes, 56 seconds it doesn't feel like one moment changed everything. It feels like something that shifted slowly, quietly over time until 12:0412 minutes. For seconds, the version of them people thought they knew no longer matched what was really going on behind the scenes. Blindsided 12:11 minutes, 11 seconds sat home, the secret conversation that ended a 27-year romance. Over the years, 12:17 minutes, 17 seconds Eamonn Holmes had been open about his health battles, and through it all, 12:21 minutes, 21 seconds there was one constant music presence beside him. Quiet, steady, and deeply involved in his care. Ruth Langsford 12:28 minutes, 28 seconds, Music. Wasn't just his partner. She was the one making sure he was okay. Day after day, even Music. As things got harder, and things did get harder. By 12:37 minutes, 37 seconds 2021, Ian was dealing with chronic back pain Music that refused to ease up. 12:42 minutes, 42 seconds something that slowly started to take over his life. It wasn't just discomfort anymore. It was something deeper. 12:49 minutes, 49 seconds eventually, Music. He discovered the cause. 3 slip discs, all contributing to a level of pain Music. 12:55 minutes, 55 seconds that didn't just pass with time. Around the same period, he also dislocated his pelvis, adding another layer to an 13:0213 minutes, 2 seconds already difficult situation. Surgery followed, but it didn't fix everything. 13:0713 minutes, 7 seconds, his first spinal operation was meant to help, but recovery didn't go the way anyone hoped. Instead of getting better, things, Music, became more complicated. 13:16 minutes, 16 seconds in 2022, he underwent a second operation, this time for a broken shoulder. And by 2023, there was a third 13:23 minutes, 23 second surgery. One after the other, each attempt Music to fix his body seemed to lead into another challenge. And slowly, his reality began to, Music, 13:13 minutes, 31 seconds change. He admitted that he was now largely using a wheelchair, describing the experience as horrendous, something he had been dealing with for 2 years 13:39 minutes, 39 seconds straight. Day-to-day life wasn't simple Music anymore. He explained that he needed help getting out of a chair and that carers were with him throughout the 13:48 13 minutes, 48 seconds day, assisting with things most people don't think twice about. He shared that someone helped music,